We'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. I'll introduce the panel members with us today. To my left is Sandy Tupper. To my far left, Maurice Tarien. I'm Marcel Larondo. I'll be chairing today. The assessor today will be Jennifer Martin. And the administrative assistant today will be Karen Belshaw. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we will limit the discussion to those matters. The statements that the applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matter must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council as independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decision with respect to the application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to an application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. Swear them in, please.
Okay. Please state your name. Jennifer Martins. Do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Bradford Scott Borkstrom.
And do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
And today we are dealing with the property of 499 River. And off you again.
This is 499 River Avenue. The business ID number is 43672. It's Safeway. I would like to request that the burden of proof be placed on the applicant for non-cooperation, section 53(3)B of the MAA. And if a reduction of assessment is ordered, that it follows section 54(3.2) of the MAA.
Brad, questions?
Sure. The realty assessment role and business assessment role are two separate roles, right?
Yes.
Two separate accounts within the City of Winnipeg.
Yes.
And the request for information, the pages aren't numbered here, but it's on the second page. So a copy of the Express Post Certified Mail, that was sent to Snowcat Property Holdings Limited, correct?
Yes.
And if we look at your front page, under the business name and the owners, that's Safeway and Sobeys West Inc., correct?
Yes.
And that's not who the request for information was sent to, correct?
Correct.
And do you know if the request for, back up for a second, the request for information shown on page 2 and following of your brief deals solely with the request for information made in respect of the realty assessment role, correct?
Yes.
And do you know if a request for information was sent out for the business assessment role?
Not that I'm aware of.
And do you know if the address is for the request for information on the realty assessment and the address to which the business assessment notice goes are the same? Are the addresses the same for the business role and the realty?
I don't know.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
What is, any questions?
Was there any request made for non-compliance on the real estate side of things?
Yes.
And what decision was rendered on that?
It was accepted by the owners.
So the owners agreed that there had been non-compliance on the real estate side?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm looking at you're asking for the burden of proof to be, but I don't see any reduction in assessment here. Are we agreed at 927,600 or not?
Sorry, yes, for
Just a
the,
minute. She'll answer me, thank you.
for the ARV,
Yeah?
we would like to go do a flow-through based on the realty side of it. So adjusting it to $836,160.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's based on
Okay.
$14.75 per square foot, and then the occupancy costs.
Okay, so okay, I see. I was looking at the 927, so
Yeah,
you're asking.
that's the original one that's appealed,
Okay.
but we're recommending that it
Okay,
goes
because I was
to.
looking at for the rec at the bottom here. Okay, so, and you don't know where I think in respect to the appellant's question, where this was sent, it was sent to King Street in Nova Scotia, to Snowcat.
Yes,
And on the real estate side, you don't know where the notice was sent. Is that what you said?
I don't know what the mailing address is for the business as opposed to the real estate.
Okay, thank you. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Sandy, any questions?
So this is the address you have on file with regard to the business taxes. Is that correct?
This is the address that we have on file in regards to the owner of the realty.
For the
Or
realty?
for who the information, the mailing address for the realty.
But did you say you weren't sure that the realty went to this address?
No, I'm not sure if the
If the
address
change-
for the realty and the address for the business are the same.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
Prior to the sale of Safeways to Sobeys, they had not missed any, had they?
I'm not sure, I haven't,
They had supplied all the information you requested at prior times?
I'm sorry, I didn't look at it, I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll just hear Brad Edmonds.
Mhm.
Brad?
Thank you. I know that at least two of the panel members have seen this before. And I'm not sure if you've seen it or heard our submissions on it. So what I will do is sort of go over it on a relatively short basis, sort of high level, just going over our points that we're going to start out with, and we've handed it out as a separate handout. This is a copy of the 2018 Business Assessment Notice. You'll see, first of all, in the top left-hand corner, that the roll number for the business assessment roll is 43672, and the assessor's evidence with respect to the request for the application of section 54.3.2 is shown on your page. Oh, it is numbered like that. On page 2, and you'll see there that it's actually addressed to Snowcat Property Holdings Limited in Stellarton, Nova Scotia, and you'll see on what we've handed out here, it's actually sent to Safeway, Sobeys West Inc., and in Calgary, Alberta. And so the requests, or the request on the realty end of it was sent to the holder of the real property, and the business occupant, which is a different legal entity, a separate person, is at a completely different address. There is no evidence of a request for information being sent to Safeway and Sobeys at this address, detailing request for information in respect of roll number 43672. So the 3 points that we want to briefly touch on. First of all authority for business assessments in the city of Winnipeg, all authority falls under the City of Winnipeg Charter. It is in the legislation in both the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter, completely removed from the Municipal Assessment Act, and it lies entirely for the City of Winnipeg only, under the City of Winnipeg Charter. And there is no provision within that charter to impose a penalty on business assessments in any form. Secondly, and I've already sort of briefly touched on it with our business assessment notice for 2018. No request was made to Safeway or Sobeys West, who are shown by the city as the occupants of this premise. There was no request sent to their address in Calgary, Alberta, and there was no request referencing rule number 43672. Thirdly, there is the issue of fairness and a duty on the part of the assessor to deal in a manner that's fair and equitable. There has already been a penalty imposed on the realty end of this particular property, and that would effectively, to impose it again, would be effectively imposing a penalty for the same crime. You can't do that twice for the same quote-unquote crime. And so in this particular case, we think that there's no basis under the legislation for the assessor's request, and even if there was, there hasn't been a proper request made, and so save and accept any questions. That's sort of the Coles notes of our arguments.
What is? Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Just a quick question. In regards to no provision under the City of Winnipeg Charter, have you reviewed section 329 where assessment rules are subject to revision in accordance with Part 8 of the Municipal Assessment Act?
I don't believe that we've included 329 in our information here, but certainly that would be the authority to amend an assessment by this board, but
Okay.
not to impose penalties. There's nothing within the charter dealing with that.
Okay. Thank you.
What is?
Oh, I think I got the picture. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sandy?
I don't have the charter in front of me. The section you just read out, does that specifically reference business taxes, or is that strictly dealing with realty?
It's dealing with Part 8 of the Municipal Assessment Act. Sorry, is everything to do with revision and appeal. So that's from 35.1, appointment of board of revision, through to,
So I'm sorry to interrupt. You mean Part 8? Or
Part 8.
Or Section 8?
Part 8. So it's everything to do with appeals up to 63.5. So it does include, sorry, hang on. It does include 53.3, and it does include section 54, because that's all under Part 8 of the Municipal Assessment Act.
Okay, thank you.
And I've got no further questions. Do you step out for a few minutes,
Sure.
please? Fill them in. Mike's on, we'll call the committee back to order, and the committee has ruled that we'll deny it.
Okay.
So if you want to give the number for the rest,
We'd like to recommend going to an ARV of $836,160. That's based on a rent of $14.75, which is what the realty is based on.
Brett?
That's fine, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, you as well.
Thank you.